Phil Norton is going to do what he does. I never know what it is. He never confides in me exactly what it is, but it's always good. So Phil Norton, would you come up?
I thought when I heard started listening to some of the stories we've heard tonight, I don't know, I thought, through the looking glass, they're really like going through the looking glass, they're going into these other worlds. We had, death and murder, and we had, kickboxing title fights. Mine is not like a looking glass that size. The looking glass that leads to the stories that I'm going to tell you tonight is more like a small little hand mirror, where everything you can't really quite fit through it, and you try and you kind of get stuck. Just like that. So, in order to raise the level of drama, rather than tell this first story, I'm going to reenact it. I didn't do a sound check first, so we'll see how we go. Can you hear that? It's 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'm having trouble sleeping because my neighbor is sweeping her driveway. She's sweeping loudly and with determination. I'm sure she's sanding millimeters off of the pavement. She's got some sort of agenda. She's got an axe to grind, or maybe just a broom to grind. But either way, each sweep sends a wave of raspy white noise out into the quiet night, soiling the air and disturbing my sleep. What am I to do? Curse her for her inconsiderate cleanliness? Go over and tell her to pipe down? Call the cops? I'd like to report a sweeping. I try to soothe myself. I try to lull myself back into slumber by recalling the voice of my mother as she would tell me stories to get me to sleep. Oh, my widow one, my sweet widow one, my sweet widow baby. It's time to sweep, widow one. It's time to sweep, widow one. Just go to sweep. Sweep. And I figure, oh, what the hell. And I try to remember where I put the broom. Thank you. I've got a couple of poems actually that I'm going to share with you that are they were written in I had this technique that I kind of fell into, I guess, and I like picture frames, and I had found this picture frame that I liked, and I thought, oh, okay, cool, and I thought, but I don't really like pictures so much. So I'm much more enamored with the frame, and I like words. So I thought, well, what if I put the words into the frame. And so what I started doing is I started buying these picture frames. I was kind of thinking this sort of fits because a picture frame is, in a sense, it can be like a mirror, or, you know, it's the same kind of frame at least. But I'd sit down and I'd measure the inside of the frame, and then I'd make a square that size on my computer, and I would start a story, start a little piece. And I would go until I had filled up the whole space. And I didn't know where these were going to lead me, and a lot of times they got very weird. So this is just a picture of what one of them looked like. So there were these frames just packed full of words, most of them. And I actually ended up kind of sneaking my way into the Melbourne Writers' Festival, because I had a number of these frames, and I thought, I can do something with these. And so I went to the Melbourne Writers' Festival and I said, I want to display the ultimate limited edition book. There's just one copy. And I'm going to display each page individually in its own frame on this 5-meter long wooden spine, stitched the pages onto here. And you could buy a page, but if you wanted to read the whole book, you had to come there to read it, because it was just this thing that was right there. So it was pretty cool, and the Melbourne Writers' Festival said, okay, we'll go for it, we'll do it. So, yeah, so that's how this came about. And so I'd like to just share two pages with you. So this first one is called, what's it called? I later called it Gravity, so I'll call it Gravity. And it's basically what I think the world would be like if the laws of physics weren't exactly the way they are and gravity didn't quite work very well. The only way to make sure one doesn't fly off and disappear into nothing is to anchor oneself. Chaining oneself to a massive boulder is, of course, the method of choice, but impractical for many due to the geological shortcomings of the local vicinity, and the shortage of good old solid chains, the sort used to chain Samson to the temple pillars. This is one of the dilemmas of modern day life. Not enough boulders, not enough chains. Lampposts with their light and veritable stability have become overcrowded, sometimes 3 or 4 people deep, requiring an ever-increasingly complex puzzle of knots and grips. There are those, too, who have chosen hiding instead of anchoring, but there, too, the choices dwindle. All the manholes are stuffed with men. There is little, if any, space under solid, sturdy beds. Rumor has it that there are those who are forced to walk the streets untethered, unsafe. Do not let this happen to you. Remember what you were taught in school as a child. Remember that in an emergency, one can always close one's eyes and think heavy thoughts. Thank you. See, so I thought, like, some people can tell you, like, there's a story I went through the looking glass, but I thought I would take you through the looking glass with me. You know, because I was listening, Divyam said this, he said, you know, Phil, the people who aren't here tonight won't know what they're missing. And that's true. But when I get done, the people who are here tonight aren't going to know what they've just seen. What's he talking about? This is dedicated to Mike Barr. I remember. I'm going to read this one. From Austin, Texas. I don't have the frame with it. Okay. This is page 4. Taking over the world with a trumpet. Taking over the world with a trumpet is simple. Once you have gathered all the people of the world into a small confined space and left them for weeks with absolutely nothing, no food, entertainment, bathing or toilet facilities, no dance steps, no ladders, no dreams. After you have left them there, open the door to the confine and shout, "I am the way to salvation, snacks, and sanitation," and then blow the trumpet. As long as they don't recognize you as the one who originally put them in that pen of hell, you should be okay. Of course, if you're concerned about this, you may choose to wear a mask to conceal your identity. If you cannot find a mask that suits you, you may wish to try the old fake beard and wig. At any rate, once you have blown the trumpet, you will be instantly deified and gain the reverence that any true liberator of mankind is due. The catch, of course, is to make sure that there are no other trumpets around for blowing. Yours must be the only one. If, perchance, you are genuinely unsuited to the trumpet and find yourself annoyed by the buzz of the mouthpiece against your lips and the tingly numbness it induces, do not fret. There is another way. Please refer to the section, Taking Over the World Without a Trumpet. Thank you. This is great. Charles is going, what is he talking about? You are in the looking glass, people. You are on the other side. This is a story. It's a true story. One morning, for reasons which even he will admit are at best uncertain, Alphonse walked into the living room, stuck his arm straight out to the side like a plane, and started spinning in a counterclockwise direction. The room, following the laws of Newtonian physics, started spinning in the equal and opposite direction. And with the room went everything in the room. The floral patterned vases, the porcelain statuettes, the red sofa covered in plastic, the jar of lollies on the coffee table, the recently acquired painting of horse and rider, even the doorway and the windows whirled round. For the first 20 minutes or so, he could still make out shapes. He saw his mother come in and go and sit down on the sofa. Alphonse wondered how anyone could get through a door that was moving so quickly. And what would be the point of sitting on a sofa that kept spinning around so fast? Why, that wouldn't be relaxing at all. You might as well be sitting on an amusement park ride. He heard his mother calling to him, telling him to stop fooling around, that he had to get ready for work. Alphonse went to take a step towards her, but he had become a human gyroscope, and movement was impossible. He just spun and spun faster and faster, watching the living room melt into an impressionist landscape. He could no longer make out anything. There was no more this, no more that, except for moments, to his great surprise, when Lucky, his mother's Burmese, would jump in the same direction as his rotation and at the same speed as his spinning, and boom, out of the haze of reflections of light from nowhere, Lucky would materialize for a few seconds and then fade back into the blur. Other than these periodic interruptions, Alphonse was the center of it all. He was it. Everything revolved around him. It was starting to make sense. He was figuring it all out now. Maybe this is why the earth spins. This is why the sun spins. And the universe. It was all making sense. By the third day of spinning, he'd worn away the rug, bored a hole through the floor and was shin deep in sawdust. And yet he felt lighter and younger and stronger than ever. He never wanted to stop. He was going for the record. Then, from the haze of speeding reflections of light, came the voice of his mother again. But this time it was a desperate pleading. The rent, Alphonse. We have to pay the rent or they'll kick us out. I can't face leaving this place. Please, Alphonse. Please. Hearing this, Alphonse started to slow down from light speed. And as he saw his mother's face, he saw an animated tear jumping down with each passing. And he knew what he had to do. So he slowed down to a halt, reached into his pocket, handed his mother a hanky, and dutifully started spinning in the opposite direction. Thank you. This is a song about going, I guess the ultimate looking glass that we get to go through is when we die. And I don't know, a lot of times we think we know what might be on the other side, but I don't know that we do. This is about a guy who kind of wants to get to the other side, and you'll find out why. My house is up in heaven. I'm not really here at all. Figure of my own delusion, staring at the sky, waiting for the call, waiting for the call. My time is up in heaven. This here watch is just for show. Ain't in no special hurry, I'm just tick-tick-tocking till it's time to go. Till it's time to go. Up in heaven, up in heaven, up in heaven. My life is up in heaven. This here body is just a bag pinned down here to this earthly man. Arms stretched up, waiting for the tag, waiting for the tag. Up in heaven, up in heaven, up in heaven. And I know my days are numbered, but I don't know for how long. So until they call me up, I'll keep on keeping on. I'll keep on keeping on.
I'll keep on keeping on, yeah, yeah. Keep on keeping on. My love is up in heaven. She's an angel now, for sure. Gonna wrap her in my angel arms. Tell her I'm coming soon as I get pure. Soon as I get pure. Soon as I get pure, pure, pure. Soon as I get pure, pure, pure. Up in heaven, up in heaven, up in heaven. Thank you.
That's it for me. Thank you.
It always seems that there's this need when it takes a special tone. Thank you so much, Phil. That was beautiful. Takes a special tone. It sort of comes together, and you always bring it home, and it's beautiful.